Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Next up is this beautiful 2015 Silverado. We're gonna lower it. We're gonna close that wheel gap. We've got all kinds of stuff. We've got a strut kit that goes 0 to 3 inch, 2-inch drop spindles. And the rear, you can go from 5 to 7-inch drop with some rear shocks. Next up, we'll go ahead and start disassembling everything. We'll get everything down as low as we can. That way we can go ahead and cut off these factory bump stops on both sides, get them out of the way. After they're out of the way, the shackles will already be off because like I said, everything, the shocks will be already off. Have it as low as possible. Once those are cut off, then we'll get the axle put on top. But before we do that, we have to flip this bolt. You squeeze on both sides and hold the leaf spring packed together. Pull that bolt out, flip it over. Then you can put the axle on the top with the flip kit. So let's get to it. Now the bump stops are cut off. That'll give you at least 5 to 6 inches extra clearance. You could remove the rubber so you don't have to cut that off and you'll be able to go lower. But taking the bump stop completely give you all the room to go to the frame if you're not going to notch it yet. They don't want to notch it. They're not ready for that, and I understand that. Not everybody has the money or the means to do it all at once. So there's no problem with doing it stages. So that's what it is. You can just take a Sawzall and cut straight across below the frame. I was gonna remove the little material that was welded on, but that don't matter. That'll get cut out if it gets notched later on. And there's nothing in the way. I smoothed the edges and everything. So everything's disconnected except for the axle and the leaf springs. Like I said a minute ago, I'm gonna disconnect the axle from the leaf springs. We'll set the leaf springs up in the air, clamp them, flip that bolt on both sides, and then we can go ahead and work this axle above the frame. I don't remove the gas tank. They say in the instructions to, but boy, is that a lot more of a headache. So I'll show you in the video, as obviously I do it, how I do it. All right, moving right along. put the flip kit on. It's all bolted down, torqued down. The bolt in the center was flipped like we talked about on the leaf spring. Cut the tabs off to the factory piece underneath this where the speed sensor went to. And then your brake line. Brake line's now bolted in place like it's supposed to be. You can see the circle. Both of them are lined up. That's how it should be. Right now I have it jacked up. Customer had 2-inch drop shackles on it. And well, they're not gonna work. He doesn't have the factory ones, neither do I. So I need to let him know that we need to grab them to continue. Once he's ready to do the notch, then we can put the drop shackles at the lowest point. I had them at 2 inches, and when I put pressure on it, the bed's still not even on it yet. It'll push it down almost there. It was touching the frame, so you can't do 8 inches without a notch. 6 inches, and that's it, without a notch. All right, so we'll get with the customer, see what they want to do, and then we'll keep moving forward. Once we get the rear done, we can move on to the front. The rear is all back together. Got the shackles, factory shackles installed. Customer dropped them off last night. So we got everything all installed. This is the bolt that was holding the shock. So I keep a bucket of random bolts, which this one will go in. And I actually had a few shock bolts, so I went ahead and put a factory bolt back in. So there's no more of whatever this was. I mean, you make do with what you can, but I like to make them correct. All right, so now we'll put the wheels back on. Then we'll get the bed back on, put the rear back on the ground, and then we'll get started on the front. And just like that, we had to take it all apart. It was too low. So we're gonna go ahead and change out the hangers. These hangers will get swapped out with the ones in the kit. So we'll go ahead and get this thing at 5 inches instead of the 6 inch. right, finally got it. I was wrong earlier. The first time we checked it and it was too close, it was at a 7-inch drop. And then I went ahead and put it to 5-inch drop and it was too tall, so I had to take the bed off again. And now we're at a 6-inch. And now he's got a few inch gap. And when I stomp on it in the back, when I bounce on it, nothing bottoms out. So now we get to go ahead and move on to the front. The front is a strut kit and spindles. So we'll do 3 inches in the front. The spindles are 2-inch, and then we'll do 1-inch on the strut kit. The strut kit, you're able to do 3-inch. So you'd be able to go all the way up to a 6-inch drop in the front, but we're not going that far. We ain't got enough room. We only have 4 inches. I think it's 4.5 inches between the tire and the fender. So we'll do 3 to give it an 1.5 inch clearance. Everything on the passenger side is stripped. Even took the hub and everything. The spindle, as you see, is bare. I need to run down and grab a coil compression, spring compressor tool. I need to build one as often as I mess with struts. But now, before we run down and get the spring compressor, we're going to disassemble the other side. We'll have both sides tore apart. That way we can use the spring compressor at the same time. And we have, like I said, brand new spindles going in. That's 2 inches of a drop. And then the struts are adjustable, but we're only going to go 1 inch for a total of 3 inches in the rear. All right, let's get on the driver's side. Time to reassemble this coil. We're not going to use the strut. In the kit that came with these struts, it has adjustable collars. Well, the snap ring goes in and they're adjustable. You got stock 1, 2, and 3 inch drop. So we're going to go with a 1 inch drop. With the 2 inch spindles will be 3 inches. So we'll get these in, this one in, and then we'll do the same thing to the other side. I've already put the snap ring on both of them where they go, so it's an easier and quicker installation. Both sides all back together. I'm gonna leave the wheels off for a second. All we have left to do is put the wheels on and this 1/4 inch transmission spacer. Once we get that in, then we can put the wheels on and see what this thing looks like. There it is. Wheel gap is not bad at all, especially being the tires are nice and wide. Not bad at all, looks good. See if we can get back here far enough to, there we go. See a full shot of it. Everything's tight, double checked. Spacers and the transmission's in. Wheel gap looks good. It'll settle a hair. He said he wanted to take off those step bars. Looks good. You know we had to tag it, as you saw. All right, this one's been a long one. It fought me a little bit, but it is what it is. If anybody needs any work done, hit me up. Message me and we'll get you a quote and get you in. Remember, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. That way you can get notified about content like this or content on finishing up the Ford. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.